Thanks for joining Let It Fly Disc Golf, and in this video we're going to talk about how you can actually practice on the course and work on different things that can improve your game. Stay tuned.
Let it fly into the sky, let it glow into the night, let it take flight, just slip away.
Alright, we are at Cal Young, hole 2. I chose this course specifically because this has a shaped line that I am trying to work on. So if you are the type of person who is constantly skying a disc, you can't do it on this hole, otherwise you're going to hit some early branches, you're going to end up short. So in this case, we need to control a shot that gives us good distance but still allows us to push through a gap. The other feature that we can also focus on is this tee pad is a really nice sized tee pad. Now if you're the type of person that likes to stand in the back of the box and go all the way across the tee pad, that's good. But what's going to happen whenever you don't have a big tee pad like this, and even to the point where you don't even have enough room from behind the tee pad to run up? So whenever I'm working on my footwork, I like to actually start somewhere in between the tee pad itself, so that this way I can get a controlled walk up and not have that big long step, because sometimes you might actually cause yourself to go too wide and then you don't have any hip mobility. The other thing that you can also use the tee pad for is if you are the type of person who likes to stagger really far out, and that is someone like me, you can also use the tee pad to kind of drive yourself forward and not so much sideways. So let's get one shot out there, throwing my Fusion Escape, a little bit of headwind, and we'll see what we are working with today. Bit of a headwind, not too bad, but as you see, I kind of shaped it a little bit this way, so that this way this second tree right here doesn't steal my shot. I know that keeping a high elbow is good for me. This allows me to get the height cleared, but it also teaches me to keep the elbow up and see what kind of throw I can get without having the ability to sky something. If you can push the ceiling with a slower disc, depending on the wind, if we had a tailwind, it'd probably be better, but because of the fact that this is headwind, I'm just really focusing on getting through the gap, making sure that the throw feels good and that it's getting to the hit. I'm also thinking about making sure my hand is closed and that kind of stuff. So there's several different things that I can utilize just on this specific hole. On those 5 or 6 shots, what I really focused on was getting low. Staying low and trying to mimic myself walking under like a bridge or a really short shed, because we don't want to be jumping up and down. It's going to throw off our release point. It might even, like if I reach here and I dip down, then I come back up, now we're swooping. So in these type of throws, who I like to think about is probably like Paul Macbeth. Even though Paul bends his knee and then he follows through like that and comes off, versus a lot of pros, like, you know, getting that straight leg. He's not so much of focusing on his brace, because we're still getting a good brace, but we're mainly focusing on the height of the disc with our body. So as I start to come through, I'm thinking maintain that same height all the way through and then release. Then what you want to do is take that information and utilize it on shots that you need to keep low. Even though it's not the same tee pad or the same hole, but you take what you learn from this one and apply it to other situations. Okay, so we moved to hole 17. This is another cool hole. We have this yellow pole right in the middle, so there's a mando to the left. Of course, you have like big open field, but the basket is really tight. You probably can't see it, but the yellow pole's here, the basket's over there. There is a couple different shots on this hole, which is the other thing I like about it. Now, it's too big of a forehand shot for me, but I've seen a lot of guys go for the forehand shot right around the mando just because it's so obvious. Another shot that other people will actually use, and I like this one because it does help my game as far as a turnover. What I like about this is because if you are practicing a turnover or a big anhyzer shot, right? What ends up happening with an anhyzer is you have to get the nose down regardless, okay? If you get the nose up, it's not going to turn, and what's going to end up happening is the disc is just going to kind of like go up and then fade out. The amount of shots that you can get on this hole is ridiculous. People talk about like, oh, well, can you throw 450 feet? Can you throw 500 feet? Can you throw at 350 feet with touch? That's where disc golf starts to come in to play, right? Yeah, if that was the short pin, that would have definitely did it. But as you can see, I didn't go all like this, just a little bit. Let's try the river. Oh yeah, the river loves it. All right, let's go pick up the disc. As you can see, the white pin is the short. We have our sapphire here, and then we have a river. The river, which is like a 7-speed, got further distance, and even though it's still a long shot, at least it gives me a run for a putt. Also, I wanted to show you is that when you are throwing multiple shots, don't neglect the other shots that you can also work on. And in this case, for me, it's a forehand. So taking where I end up, and of course this is probably like an easy backhand, just, you know, or a jump shot, right? But what I like to say is that if you're in this range and you don't have a forehand, this is the perfect timing to work on that touch for a forehand. Little headwind, so we're not really trying to pump it out there, we're just trying to slowly work our disc out there. A little bit flippier, so I'm just gonna lean over a little bit more. And see, that right there is kind of sketchy. It is a tailwind putt, but yet it's probably like pushing 30 feet. And then our Opto Sapphire. Not really that great. Thing is, we have another Sapphire. Go in. Even though we're talking about throwing off the tees and that kind of stuff, utilize this. I've been on hole 17 and hole 2 for almost an hour and nobody's played through. So even though you think, oh, I'm gonna go out to an open field, you're gonna gain more skills on the course than in an open field. But if that's the only place that you can actually go and practice in an open field, go ahead and do it. But pick an area that has targets, things you can throw under, things you can throw through, that kind of stuff to work on your game. Right. So that's going to be it for this video. I do appreciate everyone who has been watching, commenting, hitting likes. Don't forget, at 2,000 subscribers, we will do a 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So make sure you subscribe. We're going to be giving out hats, shirts, discs, so on and so on. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for that. Other than that, let me know if you do go out to the field like I'm doing, work on one hole and practice as many different shots as you possibly can. Let me know where you play and what hole and what course you play at. All right, other than that, that's gonna be it for this video. Keep up the good work, get out in the field, let it fly. Peace.
Let it fly into the sky.